Well, hello and welcome back to the Forgive Yourself podcast. I'm your host, Brenda Reese. And today we are exploring the relationship between forgiveness, spiritual devotion, and the inner practices that help us experience love, not simply as something we understand intellectually, but as something we learn to embody. My guest today believes that forgiveness is not always something we can think our way into or accomplish through willpower alone. Instead, it may ask us to slow down, which most of us do not like, become quiet, which is harder, and cultivate a deeper relationship with our inner life. Regan Caruthers is the author of the memoir, Tragic Magic, an inner life coach, a 500-hour trained yoga teacher, and the founder of Asset Yoga Center in Washington, Missouri. Her spiritual education began at an early age, and I'm excited to talk to her about that because at an early age, it included meditation, Tai Chi, and an exploration of energy and consciousness. She later taught at the Heart Math Institute, which I absolutely love, where science and contemplative practice came together. And she also spent part of her career as an executive in educational technology in Silicon Valley. You are amazing, Regan. So today, we're going to talk with Regan about how she weaves together yoga and spiritual wisdom, contemplative practice, and her own lived experience to help others deepen their connection with themselves, with love, and with the divine. Regan, welcome.
Thank you. It's really nice to be here.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I love everything that wraps up into what your beautiful energy is today. And I can feel that. And so, I'd like to, because that is unique to have such a early start with a spiritual foundation. Can you share what that was like and how it created, well, the foundation for the rest of your life, really?
Yeah, sure. My mother, this happened because of her and what she saw and what she wanted me to have. So my father wanted me to go to this other school called Community, which was for basically the rich kids of St. Louis. And my mother was like, no, absolutely not. And I don't know who I'd be in the absence of that. I have no way of knowing. Maybe my soul history is such that I'd wind up exactly where I am. I have no way of truly knowing. But what I do know is what that school did more than anything else is it didn't take something from me, in that we're all made from this source energy we call God, right? So in an energetic way, we're all gods. And yet most of us are not aware of that, right? We don't have intimacy with ourselves. And for me, I think what happened at that school was that I wasn't enculturated out of my divine identity.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and who knows, we'd have to do some kind of experiment. But my sense is when we come in, there's a lot that we know. And there's a lot that we, on some level that we can't quite explain, remember.
Yes.
And so I think we start with this remembrance. It's taken out of us for reasons we could spend a whole podcast talking about.
Absolutely.
And then the power of the journey is to consciously unify again.
That's beautifully said. I love that.
So anyway, my school was, we had time in the quiet. We experienced guided imagery. I did Tai Chi every day in Forest Park, which was across the street from the school, which is like the third largest urban park in the country. Anyways, beautiful place.
Oh, nice.
And, but, it was the singing that imprinted the deepest. I think it's such a strong pedagogical tool in educating. We sang these devotional songs and these songs of empowerment. Ooh. And that empowerment was held by God. Anyway, it was the songs. And I remember every single one of them I could still sing, every single one. And Maxwell Maltz, who wrote the book Psycho-Cybernetics, which had birthed the positive psychology movement,
Yeah, I remember that.
he was a mentor to the founder and was on the board. So a lot of his research and point of view was reflected in kind of how we did things.
Oh.
So anyway, it was wonderful. And it was also school. I read Shakespeare and learned Latin and French and algebra, so it wasn't as if it was just this esoteric, for lack of a better word, emphasis, because it wasn't. It was a beautiful blend.
I was going to say, it sounds like it was a beautiful blend. And was that through 8 years or how long was that?
God, I wish.
I know,
Um,
right?
yeah, it was hard to leave. Anyway, there was no grade level. The
Oh,
where you were, it was like a color of the rainbow.
oh, wow.
Seriously. And there was no grading either. It was all narrative grading. And yeah, we only got tested once a year. That was Iowa basic testing, which was used for accreditation. And we never had homework.
Wow.
And we ended up, at the best next step in the journey in St. Louis, which is John Burroughs. That's where everybody hopes to. Anyway, and we got there. I don't know how we got there. It wasn't through academic rigor. Say that.
Well, it sounds like, though, you embodied the learning, right? And it's not just all intellectual like a lot of the schools are now. You memorize, you do it, you go. Where some of these other schools that are trying to incorporate how we are supposed to learn, right? Which is embody it, get our whole everything, our senses, everything into it. But how
Yeah.
many kids are taught meditation at a young age?
Yeah. I know. I mean, I was really lucky, privileged really to have that experience. Yeah, we're all programmed.
We are.
And I think the early program matters the most. Again, I don't know who I'd be. Maybe I'd be the same, but what it taught me, yeah, the lessons were profound, and it's mostly it encouraged an inner life, right? That there was something really important that you can't
Yeah.
see, that really asks for your tending. So yeah, it was very empowering. And then, I just wanted to belong and figure out what normal was. And I needed safe places to be because my home was, it was an intense, unhealthy place. And so being popular was something that mattered to me as a strategy because then I had sleepovers and, other people's homes to be in
Oh,
because
good.
mine was rough. And it was more the energetics of the place, not necessarily the behaviors within it, though those were sometimes quite hard. But it was more just the energy of the place. It was really intense.
Can we talk about that? Because I think
Sure,
I think some
sure.
people can. I know that's your book, right? You write about that and that how I'll put it this way, like your stepfather was a source of trauma, where
Mhm.
and your mother, you write about she lived with a mental illness.
I don't really think she was mentally ill, but I understand why she was labeled that. Certainly, yeah.
I would love if you would share with us too, because I'm going to encourage people, of course, to read your book because I think it's pretty profound, and to be able to share a little bit what that was like, and then to share about this spiritual awakening
Oh,
because
sure.
that I love when that happens. And but I would love to, I think because people can relate to living in a household that is chaotic and maybe, even if we can touch one person with this, information, that's what we're here to do. So if you wouldn't mind
Mhm.
sharing, I would love it.
Sure. Yeah, no, happy to. So, my mother diagnosed herself as a manic depressive in 1961. She was
Oh,
in front of like a panel of psychiatrists in the mental institution. My father had tricked her in getting there. That's a whole other story. It's in the book. But anyway, yeah. So my mother definitely had mostly highs. So she was mostly hypomanic, if I was going to give it a clinical definition. But when she had lows, they were pretty significant, including a suicide attempt when I was 2 years old. Yeah, but mostly it was her high state, right? I mean, this was a young woman in her early 20s who's dating a king. She dated the king of Jordan. She spoke 9 languages. She's
Wow.
flying all the dignitary flights for Pan American for President Eisenhower. Um, I mean, that was my mother's young life. And she grew up as a poor kid in central New York. So it wasn't as if that whole exceptional thing that she created somehow, it was
Yeah.
not a reflection of her birth.
Okay.
It was a reflection of her frequency. you know,
Absolutely.
we didn't, in the 50s. I mean, she was born in 33. So, I mean, we didn't have an understanding of any of that. And,
No.
I think a lot of people who think they're mentally ill or people that you may consider mentally ill are mostly just having a spiritual crisis. Like there's something happening to them energetically that they can't integrate. I mean, I know that that was my mother's one of her many challenges, but one of the central ones. She just simply couldn't integrate what she was connected to.
Yes.
And when she was young, there was all sorts of magical ways that she expressed that. But, life happens, trauma happens, things accumulate. And because of her sensitivity and the power that she was going to feel all of those quote unquote low moments
Absolutely.
as completely as she felt the other stuff. Right.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
And so, in her case, that caused, a lot of dysregulation. Like she didn't know how to turn it on or off or up or down. I mean, that I think was her illness.
Yeah.
But I mean, it meant that things were intense. Like there's an energetic intensity to it. I can embody that sometimes. Like
Right.
I can notice when I'm like, oh wow, tone that down. But she didn't approach it that way. And so as she aged, it began to kind of have a ravaging
Mm.
effect. And there was no container as she got older and things happened. There was no container for her, like for
Okay.
the enormity of her. And so
Yeah.
something has to happen, right? In that, you have to shrink.
Yes.
So
I watched my mom do that too.
she shrank, and in the shrinking, it caused more pain,
Mm.
right? More suffering. I'm not even sure how conscious she was of any of it. Um, Interestingly, yeah, I don't know. I wish I would have talked to her more about all that.
Yeah.
It was something I kind of avoided.
Did it get worse after you left? Is that when you started noticing? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was giving her an opportunity to live with us. There was a part of the home in Boulder Creek because I had moved there to work at HeartMath. The front part of the home had its own separate entrance and a full bath.
Mm.
And the intention was to have her and her my stepfather Joe live with us. And they came to visit, and it was just, yeah, it was so intense. And there was often a brutality in my mother's intensity as she got older.
Oh,
Not conscious, like she would have never wanted to harm me. Like
yeah.
none of it was conscious. It was just more like whatever she's connected to, the totality of it all.
It was too much.
It was too much.
It was too much.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
have nothing but love and compassion. Like I think if she was born today, it would have been quite different for her.
Mm.
But to be born in 1933,
Mhm.
and be as she was. Yeah, it's just not a good fit.
No. How did your
Oh,
relationship progress with her? Did it? Because I also want to talk about your stepfather, because I know with your awakening, that led you to forgiveness and stuff with him. How about your
yeah.
mom?
I mean, it's hard to explain. I tried to do this in the book, but it's like she was the greatest love I have ever known. Like
Mm.
the Sophia love that she could embody. And I remember so many moments like on her bed because she left her king size bed and she as she got older she kind of stayed there.
Did she?
Anyway, she walked a couple of miles a day. She always made sure to do that. But yeah, she was in that bed a lot. And anyway, she would hold me and I would be resting, right on her chest. And I don't have words for that quality of love. And that was always true. It wasn't as if that had abandoned her.
Okay.
She just didn't spend as much time as she aged there
Yeah.
as she did more in the polarity of that.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so that was rough. Um, but again, I mean, when you have that quality of love, when you can feel that with someone, right? Like you can accept a lot of the shit. Excuse my French,
Oh
but
no,
it's
that's
like,
good. Yes, you
it's
can.
like you can
You
just be
can.
like, wow, you know what? It's almost like the price. Not that these things have prices, but maybe they do.
Mm.
And it's not unlike what I came to learn through my awakening, right? It's about, can you hold the light? Can you hold divine love in the presence of darkness?
Yes.
So in those moments, particularly when I got really good at it, which wasn't until about the age of 29, but I remember one day in the living room and Connor was napping, which was rare, and I knew it was going to be brief. Anyway, she was just laying into me. I don't remember what it was that she was saying. It doesn't matter, but she had this way of just ripping your skin off.
Wow.
Um, and there was nothing that came out of her mouth that wasn't true. Right?
Mm.
Like when somebody can see you so completely, if they're not coming from a place of love, right? That can really be something. And
Yeah.
so I don't remember what she was saying, but I just was sending her the most complete unconditional love, right?
Mm.
Like just radiating that like a laser beam to her. And yeah, so she stopped abruptly. Like she, finally just couldn't ignore it. And she stops talking, which is a miracle in and of itself. And then she said, honey, you either just had an orgasm, you're on some kind of drug, or this heart stuff you keep talking about really works. It was hilarious. She was so funny. But anyway, and what she needed in those moments of ravaging darkness was love. And so as I radiated that to her, she had nothing to say.
No.
There was no need to say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there's a real practical benefit to love and forgiveness.
Yes, there is. There.
It's a very strategic, if you wanted to think about it in terms of a strategy for a more fulfilling life.
Yeah.
And all the master teachers taught the same thing, right? I mean, Yeshua, who's my personal favorite, love your God with all your heart, love your neighbor as yourself, and love your enemies. To do that, to have a devotion to do that is enough. And it's hard to have time for anything else. Like if you truly want to do that,
Yeah.
it requires your full commitment.
Yeah. Yes, it does. Well, and you get to a point where you want to commit to it. At least for me, there's a point where you want to experience that more. You want to expand that more. You want to understand yourself more and others, right? You want to like be in it more, even though the world around us can kind of want to restrict us in that arena, But it's like for me, it's like I want to be that more. The more I'm in it, the more I experience it, the more I talk with people, the more I'm around it, the more I embody. That's what I had found, you know?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's devotion to God. I mean,
Yeah,
and sadly, God is a triggering word
it
for a
is.
lot of people. And again, that's not by accident either. So anyway, I don't say that lightly because I know that that word, can mean a lot of different things. And the way I think of it is just a quality of love that words don't work for. Like I can't explain to those that tune into your podcast. I truly can't explain it, and I also can't prove it. We did some proving of it at HeartMath. I mean, the research is pretty interesting and compelling about what love does, right? Like what it facilitates. So I'm, glad that that's at least there's an opportunity to understand it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not anything you can really teach. I can embody it as best I can. And, some days are easier than others. Yeah. And, my mom, I'm going back to one of your questions. I mean, she met my stepdad in the mental hospital.
Oh.
That's,
Oh,
like,
okay.
how could you expect it to be anything but, other than complicated? Right? It's just like,
Absolutely.
and that it was. I mean, it's not as if my stepfather was a complete villainous figure, right? I mean, that's what makes forgiveness and all of this so complex
Yeah.
is that none of it is black and white. It is very much a question or a phenomenon of gray.
Okay.
And that was true for him. I mean, I remember when my mother first had him around, I mean, I was ecstatic. My biological father, I only saw on Sundays for lunch, like
Okay.
literally my whole life, with the exception of a couple of vacations. So to have, that male presence around, and he was so handsome and he had big muscles. And I remember, I don't know, that I like feeling safe in his
Oh, okay.
arms until that was no longer true. It was like he was a simmering cauldron. It's not anything he wanted to be or set out to be or intended to be. It was all, a consequence of his own trauma, right? That's
Yeah.
why at some point we have to just make a decision that it's going to end with us, that we're going to take it all on
Yeah.
and we're going to, transmute it and integrate it and heal it, so that we change the story. And if we change our own individual story, right? If that becomes a much more conscious adventure,
Yeah.
then as an aggregate, we're all going to experience and benefit from each of us holding that, right? Knowing that. I mean, that's where the hope is. The hope
Absolutely.
is in the collective awakening. But it is not easy. If anybody thinks awakenings are like unicorns and rainbows, I mean, it's just not that. It is at the onset, right? That moment of such profound love that you're forever changed. The nature of reality, you have clear seeing, right? All of that. There is real bliss in that, until there isn't. And that's pretty quick because it is what it is, as they say. And so you have to, at least for me, again, I can't speak for everyone, but for me, in order for me to fully awaken, I had to see and deal with a lot of darkness.
Mm.
And in that initiation, I call it my Jedi training. you know,
Oh, absolutely.
like Luke Skywalker, like honestly, the dark portal and Darth Vader, and it was all, Yoda was creating that hologram, to teach them, can you hold the light
Yeah.
in this, in this setting? So anyway, I experienced my own version, and yeah, and there's no books for that. There's no like post awakening handbook that you're given,
No.
right? And everybody's awakenings are not the same.
No.
But for mine, yeah, and I know if I had, excuse me for a sec, confided in a mental health professional like my mother, I
Hmm.
would have been institutionalized.
Yep.
I might
Yep.
have been diagnosed as schizophrenic,
Right.
um, bipolar. I mean, I who knows, but I know it would have happened, and I would have been medicated. And, and in my poor mother's case in the 1960s, that meant electric shock,
Absolutely.
right? Like that was the standard of care. Um, so, I mean, that was an incredible trauma. She never talked about that. She never, I think, identified that as she aged and all of this accumulated, without that transmutation, it owns you.
Absolutely. How old were you when you had your spirit or when you went through your spiritual awakening?
I was 27 and it
Okay.
happened at a national sales meeting.
Oh, oh, yay. I love that we have no control over when it happens either.
Right. And if smoking Marlboro Lights and drinking cosmopolitan martinis was a spiritual practice, then yeah, I mean, that's what I want your folks to understand is that even though I had that truly, different early education,
Yeah.
I mean, I made a conscious choice at 9. I mean, I screamed out loud for it all to stop because it was a lot for me to integrate and make sense of.
Okay.
And there was this one being that used to follow me around all the time, this man. Um, yeah, anyway, I screamed out loud for it to all stop after seeing this man in this fiery throne on my washing machine. I know it sounds nuts, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
And that veil came down, and I just wanted to be normal.
Yeah. So you'd been
And
having like you could see things from an early age. Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
and
There's,
I could hear other people's thoughts. So,
oh,
imagine you're 8 years old. Like that's yeah, you just don't want
no.
that.
Well, no, no. And I don't blame you for saying, all right, stop. Right. And I've known quite a few people that have shared a story similar, right? Who just said at an early age, stop. They didn't know, and there was nobody to help them understand what was happening. And it just breaks my heart, because we have a better understanding now, even though it's not widely known, but still there's people out there that help people with that. But I would like to touch on how did you forgive your stepfather?
It was immediate. Yeah. So, I mean, I'll set the scene, even though it's
Yeah,
a
please.
bit of a spoiler for the book, but that's okay. Yeah. So I'm at this national meeting. My best friend from childhood comes to the meeting. She's just graduated from the Culinary Institute of America, and she's trying to get a job in San Francisco. And I got a meeting there. And I'm like, oh yeah, stay in my suite. I'll take care of you. So she's doing that. I'm smoking and drinking my vodka shots before I have to go back down. Yeah, it was just such a dysfunctional company. It was like something out of a bad TV movie. It
I
really
think
was.
people can relate to this.
It really was. It was just like, oh my God, is this really happening kind of place? And at this meeting, one of my mentors confides in me that she'd been raped. And so it took this real kind of dark turn.
Yeah.
And I cared about her a great deal. Like she was a dear friend. And something in that, and again, I don't know if it's related to what happens. Yeah, who knows? But what I did feel in that moment when she shared that with me was that none of this mattered. Like none of it matters. And I really, wanted to climb the corporate mountaintop. I thought that was going to lead to safety.
Absolutely. Oh,
if
I
I
get
keep,
that.
if I keep climbing, maybe I'll find a safe place. And it all just became so effing obvious that that wasn't true and that it didn't matter. So that was kind of the energetic condition of me. And I was feeling like I was going to speak to all the ethical breaches in the company. Like I was kind of fired up. I can think of it more like Kali energy at this point.
Yeah.
So, anyway, my friend comes and she brings the book Return to Love. I
Oh,
kid you not, by Marianne Williamson.
yes.
And I'm like
Yes.
smoking my cigarette, opening it up, and it's just like Christ consciousness, this and that. And I just closed it and I said, Heidi, I love you, but I don't have time for this. Off I went, to lead my next session. Okay,
Yes.
so that's the scene. I just want a decent night's sleep. I'm totally stressed out. Heidi decides to just go party in the city. I'm like, I need to go to bed. And in the middle of the night, I woke up terrified. I mean, the terror I had in my system was just like I used to feel as a kid when I would see this man. Anyway, so I knew someone was in my room. I could feel it. And then I opened my eyes, and sure enough, at the end of my bed is this same male entity.
Mm.
And his arms are crossed. He's got long hair, bit of a like shadowy beard, handsome. And I just sat up in bed and I said, It's you. It's only you. I'm not afraid of you. And I went back to sleep. When I woke up the next morning, all I could feel was the love of God
Oh,
and
wow.
nothing else. And nothing else. And I kidded, myself and friends, it's like maybe that man was trying to do that the entire time. Like, can't she just be fearless and sovereign in my presence? Because I want to awaken her to her divine nature. Right. I mean, anyway. So, yeah. So that happened. And I didn't know how long it was going to last, this embodiment. And it was like so many downloads. And I felt like just the felt sense of it. I can't describe, but it's like bliss. Bliss, but grounded. Like there's a wisdom. It's like very Sophia because you just know, like you just know. Anyway, I just wanted to talk to my mom, and I couldn't reach her, and I never had trouble reaching her. And the only person that picked up a phone, including my father and my husband at the time, was my stepdad. And
Wow.
I just told him immediately how much I loved him, and that I forgave him. And I meant it. I mean, I
Yeah.
had nothing but love because of what had come through me and what I was still holding.
Yeah.
I mean, I just had nothing but love. And I told him. And I also said, I don't remember all the things I said
Yeah.
because it was coming through, but the nut of it was that the only reason we exist in this form,
Yeah.
in this place, is to learn how to love. Like unconditionally, right? Like the kind of love Yeshua taught
Yes.
and Krishna taught and
Yeah.
Muhammad taught and the Buddha taught,
Mm.
and the Dalai, like it's the same current
Yes.
and it's love. And when you can hold that, yeah. So anyway, I tell him that on the phone. I'm still in San Francisco at this meeting, keep in mind. And that's when phones had cords.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Anyway, I heard it kind of bang around for a few seconds, like he had dropped it or something. It was swinging. Remember how the phones would
Oh,
swing?
I remember. Yes. Yes.
It'd clunk around. Anyway, that's kind of what was happening. And he comes back and he says, Blonde Beauty, I don't have an explanation for this, but a golden eagle just landed on the crabapple tree in the backyard. And then
Wow.
he's a little disoriented at this point. And then he says, and now, Reagan, there's a red fox at the base of the tree looking up at the eagle. And he's Comanche. I mean, he's not complete Comanche, but yeah, he's Comanche blood. And, the eagle is the divine.
Mm.
It's a divine, symbol of God itself. And
Yeah.
the red fox is a noble messenger.
Oh,
So this violent, angry man has been kind and gentle ever since. And that's been over 30 years. So,
beautiful.
I'm no Jesus, I'm no Yeshua, but that quality of love heals.
It does heal. It does heal. I have
And
been in the presence of that. I get that.
and we're all worthy of that, regardless of what we've done.
Yes.
Um, and Yeah. And there's practical ways to get to forgiveness too. I remember a long time ago writing a essay on what was that first writing thing? Oh, Medium, about forgiveness.
Mm.
You know, there's a backstory to all of it. Like
Yes,
in terms of how my stepfather behaved, what his demons were, what
mhm.
his struggle was, right? He didn't come like that.
Correct.
He became that.
Yeah.
And so part of the gateway, right? Part of the process here is, if you can, through compassion and inquiry, like appreciative inquiry, try to
Yeah.
learn about your oppressor. I think it can help. It doesn't, it's not going to guarantee anything, but I think it can help. But it's really, it's a choice, and it sounds contrived. And what I would also say, because this is something I had to learn, I used to go like to unconditional love immediately. I could just leapfrog right over stuff.
Yep.
And I'm not recommending that. Right? That's the ultimate destination, but the way to truly get there, the healthy way to get there, is you've got to acknowledge and feel all of it.
Yes. Yes.
Because if you deny any of that, first of all, you don't know what you're forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that act of forgiveness has so much more power
Oh,
when
that.
it comes from that kind of radical honesty about what occurred.
Oh, yep.
You
Uh,
know, it's kind of like forgiveness is, I think there was a, I don't know what church. Anyway, I don't even remember her name. Anyway, she had like body art, like tattoos from like neck to her toes. And she had a church. Uh, she was a female pastor of some Christian denomination. But anyway, she said once, and I really took it to heart, and I want to give her credit, is that forgiveness is more what you did is so not okay. I'm choosing not to be connected to it anymore.
yeah. That
Like,
was Nadia something. I think her name was Nadia
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yes. Love her.
You know,
Love.
like bolt cutters.
Yes.
It's an act of liberation. It's not an act of trying to make anything okay.
Yes.
It's more about, what do you want to choose? Because it already happened. You can't change it.
Mm-mm.
And the biochemistry of how you're staying in it
Yeah.
is harming you, right? Like there's a biochemical consequence to resentment. There's a
Yes.
biochemical consequence, yeah, to holding a grudge, to being angry, uh,
Absolutely.
all of that. Like, yeah, okay, you know, it's not about whether it's right or wrong. It just means, I mean, there are consequences.
There is. And I wish people, that's part of my, what I love sharing about is it's biochemical, it's neurological, it's everything. You know, back to the body keeps the score, but it's what it does to our mind and what it does to our nervous system and all of that. It truly is about liberation. And
And it's about love, right? I
it
mean,
is,
that's the
yes.
kind of love that these master teachers were trying to teach us to understand,
Hmm.
right? Like when you can be in that, forgiving someone is not hard.
No,
If
nope.
you're in the frequency truly, if you are truly embodying that quality of love, it's not hard.
No.
But, you know, it's kind of like you wouldn't, if there was a violin lying around, you wouldn't pick it up and expect to play like beautiful music, right? Like you'd
Right.
be like, "Oh, wow, this sounds like shit." No, anyway.
Exactly.
But what you knew in that, in you know, that analogy, is that you have to practice.
Yes.
And, you know, I don't like to say have to or should, and it's kind of a have to should. Like if you want, if you've had a moment of clear seeing, if you know what the felt sense of God feels like, right? If you know what that feels like, it's so worthy of sustaining.
Yes.
But to sustain it, I mean, you got to work at it. And in my case, after my awakening, I was back in survival mode. Yeah, I had an elevated frequency, certainly, and I could manifest and make things happen in ways that were pretty remarkable because of it. But yeah, anyway, it's complex and it requires devotion and practice. And in my case, I got into survivor mode. I became less disciplined, less time, and life reflected that. Right?
Yeah.
It's all a reflection of us.
Yes.
Um, and when through a series of different different amazing events. Anyway, I finally was able to get back to it,
Okay.
like truly get back to it. I didn't have to work as a Silicon Valley executive anymore. I had this wonderful man who all he wanted to do was take care of me,
Mm.
which when he first offered, like I recoiled, right? Because even within all the work I've done and all that I've been exposed to, there's some traumatized people in there still, right? And their response is mostly to do it all themselves, to rely on no one.
Absolutely.
Right. So in
Yeah.
that, I would also have then attracted my first husband who had no interest in taking care of me. Right. I mean, makes perfect sense.
It does make perfect sense.
So again, it's like the energy of you determines all of it.
Yeah.
And it determines what you see. Yeah. And so golly, just hang out in the energy of love. I mean, that's been my practice for such a long time, is just to the heart-centered breathing. And then I don't have to go to a memory anymore, but just literally tuning in to the frequency of God's love. Like I know what that feels like. I know what that's like to hold that in my system for whatever reason that happened at 27.
How about those that aren't, like who haven't had that? What would be a couple steps to get there?
It's the same thing. So in that case, whatever the greatest love you've known, that could be for your pet, your grandchild, your favorite place in nature. Maybe you have a lake and a cat, like whatever it is. Anything that can evoke a quality of gratitude, love. I mean, it could be a moment of hope. I mean, I don't care what it is really.
Yeah.
Any elevated emotion,
Okay.
think of it like scaffolding. Like
Mm.
you're building the foundation, you're building the structure.
Beautiful.
The more you hang out in feelings of love and gratitude for someone or something, right? And that gets kind of solidified and you build the neural architecture. So your system now is embodying that, broadcasting that, right? Well, you're going to just naturally, we evolve, right? So you're naturally going to go higher.
Okay.
I mean, you almost can't not. And it's not linear, I mean, I hate
No,
even the term higher. But I don't know how else to explain it. Love will take you places. I think that's even like a
yeah,
known phrase or
I think
something.
so too.
It sounds familiar. But yeah, it's true. It's
I think
true. And
everybody's had a spot like that, a place, right? We've had somewhere where we've felt really connected. We have had that feeling. And that's what I loved about Heart Math when I was learning about it, where they tell you to practice that every day. Like go there, even if it's for a moment, just go there and expand it as much as you can. I love that. And it's for some, it's not easy, but it is an easier practice to do than, here, do these 5 things every day.
yeah, it's just literally hanging out in the energy of love. I mean, just
Yeah.
and knowing that that's a self-generative process. And that's when you're awake and you begin to truly understand that your experience is up
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I was a little kid, one of my songs was, it's up to you what you're gonna do with your life. It's up to you what you're gonna be. It's up to you. You've got the power to choose in your life. It's up to you to be free. Are you gonna have a good day? Will you live it in peace? You can learn to light your way. Just learn to pray without ceasing.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. And I love that we got a little song too. This is good.
And I have the Sunshine Songbook. I've often thought like one of my projects needs to be producing that album
Yeah, that
because
would be great.
because those songs are so fantastic.
Oh,
Um, yeah.
I love that. Well, I'm going to ask you a question. We're getting closer to close, and I want to talk about your book a little bit and all the good stuff. Has there ever been anything you needed to forgive yourself for?
Oh shit.
And
That's a whole other podcast.
well, I like to bring this up because, other people feel like they're alone, right? And they're alone in the way they talk to themselves or the things that they've done to others or, and we carry it and then it turns into the shame and the guilt. Well, even the shame and how it just tears us apart. And so I like to ask people that so other people know they're not alone.
No, and the thing is, and I say this to clients a lot, and I need to be reminded of it myself from time to time. You can't impose a point of view or understanding or anything like a past version of yourself, right? If you're going to look at that past version of yourself as you are now,
Yeah.
that's inherently unfair
Right. Thank you.
because you're not the same person and you value different things and you understand the nature of reality differently, right? There's so many differences. And so don't do that. Don't do
Good.
that to yourself because you're not going to learn anything anyway.
Yeah.
There's nothing to learn by doing that, right? It's more like just tuning into a radio dial. Like, what frequency do you want to hold?
Yes.
And it really is just making a decision. It's like, okay, if it's yes, and hopefully it's a like F yes, um, then it's like training, just like a marathon or just like anything. You got to get in shape for it.
Yeah.
It's
You
like
do.
it's like energetic exercise.
Yes.
Maybe that's how we need to
I love
explain
it.
it. I don't
Energetic
know. Yeah,
exercise.
it's an energetic workout.
Yeah.
Um, and it never, it's like you don't graduate. It never ends. Or at least if it does end, I don't know how that works. Because
I don't think anybody's ever done that to be able to tell us.
it just, yeah. So, life happens. And yeah, I mean, one thing I wanted to tell you that I went to visit the founder of my grade school when I was pregnant with Connor, my first
Yeah.
son. And she lived in Florida. She was retired. And she was like this like smoking, whiskey drinking mystic. I loved her. And I didn't know any of that, right, going into it. And I asked her, I said, what did you want the legacy of our education to be?
Mm.
And she didn't even hesitate. It was like a nanosecond maybe went by. And she said, I wanted you to know that every thought and feeling you have is your choice.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that's where it's at, right? To have that kind of sovereignty, right? And enough stillness, right? Enough quiet,
Mm.
enough healing that you're responding and not
Yeah.
reacting.
Yes.
That you are making a choice
Mm.
because you're choosing anyway,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
You're choosing.
Right.
It's just whether it's conscious
There you go.
or not. And not making a choice, right, is also a choice.
Oh, it's definitely a choice. I talk about that too. And it's like choosing, going back to your devotion before we close and talk about your book. and coaching, but it's also choosing what I'm devoted to. Because what thing I learned about over this, even being quiet for 6 weeks for my hamstring recovery, right?
Mm.
And even that has been beautifully divinely guided. My surgeon said the same thing to you. He's like, your recovery is not typical. I don't know what you did. He just told me that yesterday. I don't know what you did, but keep doing it because this is not how it works for
Mm.
all the people. And I'm like, I know how it works.
Right.
And I told him how I thought it worked. But, it's like
Mm.
this devotion. What are you devoted to? And I love that question that you have. It's like I can be devoted to that, to looking at things to respond to versus react. I can look in at things of how I can grow more into love. I can look at that, or I can be devoted to the busyness, to the shame, to the judgment, to the got to get things done, or climbing the ladder, or, being kind of living unconsciously. I love that. And, and because you talk a lot about devotion, and I think people have a misdefinition possibly of devotion, because we are devoted to something.
Mm-hmm.
We're already devoted.
Yeah. I mean,
And
and the
yeah.
easy way to know is, how do you spend your time? Right? Like, there's not a lot of mystery to your devotion.
Right.
Um,
It's not difficult.
yeah, it's not difficult to see.
No.
Um, Trying to just become more conscious.
Yeah.
Start there. Have a practice where you feel love,
I love
count
that.
your blessings. And I don't mean that in a contrived way. Like, really feel the gratitude for the blessings that you do have, because we all have them,
Yes, we do.
right? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
maybe, yeah, we all have them. And so, any elevated emotion, just hang out there and things begin to change.
Mm.
Things begin to change.
Ugh, I love that. Now, I'm going to put your information in the show notes about Tragic
Oh,
Magic for your
thanks.
book. And I want to encourage people, because there's so much more to the book. So I'm encouraging people to read that. You also offer inner life coaching.
Hmm.
So do you want to share a little bit about that? I love the inner life coaching.
Yeah, thanks. I don't do a lot of it, interestingly enough.
Okay.
My days are full in other ways right now. For whatever reason, there's a lot going on at the yoga center, and I'm writing this novel, and I've got
Yeah.
10 acres to tend to, and a
Wow.
family to feed, and a cat. Um, you know, th- so, we all have trauma. We
Yeah.
just do. I mean, that's one thing we all have in common. Uh, and so for me, I wanted to develop first a process for myself, and then that's the process I share. Just the radical unpacking of who's in there, and
Mm.
looking at developmental stages beyond the events, right? Beyond the things you remember,
Yeah.
the attributes, what got built.
Mm.
And so you get, and in yoga, it's one of the niyamas, spayaya, self-study. So really doing that work. And as you get more deeply acquainted with yourself, then there's this process of loving witness that I teach. Connect to the energy of God, bring that in and tend, right? Like my inner toddler who doesn't trust anyone, like she's not wrong,
Right.
right? So it's not about trying to reframe anything or change your mind. It's literally just to know who she is, what her point of view is,
Yeah.
and go to her and with that quality of love, like just carry that to her and say, I'm here. I'm not going to abandon you
Oh,
anymore.
good.
I'm not going to, cope in X way because you're feeling this. I am just going to be here and I'm going to love you.
Oh,
So, I mean, that's the nut of it. And it depends on how devoted you are, right? How much time are you doing that determines how
right.
quickly you move through it. But as you're tending in this way and you're connecting to positive emotional memories, so you're changing the composition of the amygdala. I mean, there's so many things that happen as a result. And ideally, you get to that place of sovereignty,
Mm,
right? And in yoga, we call that santosha, complete contentment, where external circumstances don't determine your inner state, your inner reality.
I love that.
And again, to do that, I mean, it's not immediate.
I love that. I love the reminder.
Yeah,
It's not a quick
it's
fix. You
not
can't take a
immediate,
pill.
you
It's
know.
not immediate.
It just isn't. And it doesn't end. So
No.
that can sound like a big fat drag, right? Like, um,
Yes.
but it just that's what I've found, right? I mean, that's
Mm,
been my direct experience. Love heals.
yay.
Uh, love makes you smarter. Love makes you healthier. Yeah, I mean, it's just what we're here to do.
We
Um,
are.
it's the whole point of being on this crazy rock
Yeah.
is to learn to do this.
Mm, I
And
love
then who
that.
knows, maybe you truly learn it, embody it, and I don't know, you get to go somewhere a little easier.
Hopefully, cross the fingers.
I mean, I don't know, but I
Oh,
think that's probably true. I mean, that
yeah.
just makes sense. Yeah.
Oh,
So it's been a wild
yeah.
ride, but I just want to serve from this place. And
Mm,
so most of what I offer here, not what other practitioners offer, but what I offer, I don't charge.
okay.
I just I mean that's what God has asked of me. It's almost like how devoted are you?
Yeah.
Right? Can you get yourself completely out of it? At least in that way. And so much of the program is tied to that.
Okay.
Like our value being something to do with some transaction, like how much income you earn or all the American way, as it were.
Yeah,
The American
absolutely.
program, the standard American program. Um, and there's a lot of stability in that program.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not as if that program doesn't have value, um, but there is another way.
Oh, I love that. Well, we're going to put your link for the discovery call in the show notes too, in
Okay,
case
thank
it sparks someone to reach out to you and have a conversation. And I have just enjoyed today. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah. And if they want to read my writing beyond the memoir, I write on Substack, and so
I was gonna ask you
yeah,
about
and
that.
I don't charge for that either, so they can
Okay,
just
good.
search my name and find me. And there's some provocative stuff in there. So anyway, hopefully
Oh, I
they
love
check it
it.
out, and I'll let you know maybe sometime in the future when my novel is
Please do.
finished and out somehow. I have no idea how that's going to work, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I look forward to it. And for everyone listening, I want to say thank you so much. I want to say thank you again to Reagan for sharing so much goodness.
Oh,
And I'd like everyone listening to kind of be a little easy on themselves and perhaps I think what I'm taking from this conversation today is an invitation to create not perfect practice, right? Not a perfect spiritual practice, or even forcing forgiveness. It is about being in the energy of love and doing whatever practice to cultivate that. And I love the question that you bring up. What am I devoted to? And then what do I want to become more devoted to? I mean, those right there, I'm taking that because it's a
no.
beautiful reminder,
Yeah.
right? But there's so many more nuggets from what from what you
Well,
shared.
and
But
just in closing, I mean, in the yoga tradition, again, another one of these niyamas, the second limb, which is observances of self, and it's called tapas, which means that inner fire, right? That discipline. I mean, it's kind of a requirement in the process of conscious union with God. Is
oh,
to be devoted and disciplined.
oh, I
Yep.
love
That doesn't make like a good bumper sticker, though. I don't think.
that. There you go. I love it. Regan, you are a delight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for everyone listening, her information will be in the show notes. And I thank you again for being with us today. And I always want you to remember that you matter. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did enjoy it, would you do me a favor and share this episode and then follow us on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss one episode of the Forgive Yourself podcast, where every Friday you will get tips, tools, and stories so that you can turn your pain into peace. Take care.